Good morning, senior students. I hope you are well. My name is Teacher Solimo. We're going to continue with our lesson. I'm not really feeling well. That's why I've decided that instead of missing the lesson completely, I can make some recording for you. I hope everything is okay. Alright, last time we learned about commission. We learned about discount, we learned about hire purchase, and still it is in business mathematics. Now for today, we're going to learn about something called interest. With interest, we have two types of interest. We have what we call simple interest and compound interest. Basically, you learned about simple interest in primary, and I think you have some concept about that, and we are going to build up on that to also get to know about compound interest. Now we have simple interests. I'm going to remind you about simple interest. Now, when you give out or when you borrow money from a bank or any other financial institution, you will have to pay back that money, of course, after borrowing. Maybe you're getting a loan, something like that. But you don't pay back the exact amount of money. The money you're going to pay back will have some interest or will have some extra charge for borrowing in addition to your repayments. So the money borrowed becomes the principal, and the extra charges become what we call interest. That is basically what we have. So then we can now calculate the interest from that. We can now calculate the interest from that. So simple interest. Allow me write that. Simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Like that. That is the formula. You can decide to divide out of 100, definitely. Whereby P is equal to what? Principal. And then R is equal to the rate of interest. The rate of interest per annum. And T is the time, and the time should be in what? Years. The rate of interest is always in percentage. Don't forget about that. That is very important. So R is per annum and T must be in years. All the things. The rate must be per annum or per year also, like that. So that's what it is. If R is per month, then T must also be what? In months, like that. If the rate is in days, then T also must be in days. All those things are very important to calculate what we call simple interest. So what do we say simple interest is? Now, after getting the interest and you want to get the amount now is the same as principal plus the interest. That's the amount you have to pay back. This is principal plus interest. In simple terms, it is P plus interest. That's the total amount you will pay back after you have used the money when you have gotten a loan. That is what happens. So we can write something. Note, if you borrow money from a money lender or a bank, or any other financial institution, and then you will have to pay back the money with interest. Time is called extra charge for borrowing the money. That is a definition of what we are talking about. So you have to pay back the money with interest, and the interest is what we are looking up to now. Let us do some examples. Example. Okay. We have given to find the simple interest find the simple interest on shillings 25,000 for 3.5 years at 18% per annum. Telling us to find the simple interest on that money. Okay, I hope you have coped the question. That's the question. Now we need to get the simple interest for that amount of money. Simple interest from our formula is the same as principal times rate times time, all divided by 100, because the rate must always be in percentage. That's why we are dividing by 100. So we shall have to get what we have there. We shall have to substitute our principal from our formula here. Our principal is 25,000, as you can see from up here. So we can put 25,000, where there is the P, times rate. The rate is 18%, so we put 18. If there's already 100 down here, just put 18, times time. The time is already in years, which is what? 3.5. all divided by 100. When we punch in this to our machines, our calculator, what shall we get? You can as well get your calculator and multiply that, then divide by 100. What shall we get? I know, yes, you have done something. Let me also do the calculation here. You get 1,550. That's the simple interest. So that is 15,750. That person is supposed to pay back that amount of what? Money. And of course it is in shillings. That's why I have to put that. Okay, that's that. You can copy that. You can pause the video and copy that. You can pause the video and copy that. Now, I want you to do the second example, or let's do the second example. Find the simple interest, find the simple interest on shillings, 20,000 for 21 months. For 21 months at 1.5% per month. Then I've told you to find also the amount. Find also the amount after 21 months. Yes, yes, I might be rushing somehow, but make sure you keep pausing the video. Pausing means you stop the video first and you make the writing. Okay, let us do that together. Now, they want us to find the simple interest on shillings 20,000 for 21 months at 1.5% per annum. That's the rate. Find also the amount after 21 months. So they have told us two things: simple interest and the amount. Now we have the principal is 20,000, and then the time is 21 months, since they are already in months, and the rate, which is R, the same as 1.5%. And then they want us to get the simple interest. Simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time out of 100, giving us principal, which is 20,000 times the rate, which is 1.5, times 21 out of 100. But we have to simplify that 1.5, and before you can punch into our calculator, so you shall have 20,000 times, make this to become an improper fraction. This is 2 times 1, we shall get 2. 2 times 1 we shall get 2 plus 1, we shall get what? We shall get 3. So that's the same as writing 3 out of 2, like that, multiplied by 21 out of 100. These 2 can go with this 2, which remain is 1. So this is 10,000. It's no longer now 20. 10,000. 10,000 times 3 times 21 divided by 100. What do we get? What do we get? When I press into my calculator, I'm having shillings 6,300. If you have pressed very well, it's good. Now we can get the amount as well. Amount is equal to principal. That's the simple interest. That's the interest that it will accumulate after 21 months. Since they are all in months, it's okay. You don't need to convert it to years like that, since they are all in months. And also the rate. That's that. So amount is the same as principal plus interest, giving us principal is the amount of money which was initially given out was 20,000. So principal is 20,000 plus the interest, which is 6,300, giving us shillings 26,300. That is what happens. That is what happens at the end of the day. All right. Now, we have started with that, and that is very interesting of you. And we have to proceed to another thing called compound interest. when I come to class, you will ask me a few questions, but that's what we have. Compound interest. Compound interest. Compound interest. Now, with compound, it is not only given in a given period of time. We keep adding it up, like interest in 2 years, 3 years, like that. I can compound it after 2 years. It becomes compound interest. So compound interest is not the same as simple interest, but when you keep adding, like this is the first year, second year, we keep adding the money. Like maybe I've withdrawn today, I've not withdrawn my money, I've deposited maybe okay, they'll give me a loan of, probably not giving me even a loan, but maybe I've deposited some amount of money in the bank, and I want it to go, and I will not withdraw it. Maybe I don't have problems. Now what happens is, instead of withdrawing the money after making some profits, because when you put the money in the bank, you'll get somewhat profits at the end of the day. This money will have to compound itself. Instead of withdrawing it, they now don't remove that money, but instead add it to the next year, and it becomes the principal. Then they again calculate the what? Calculate the interest. Now that becomes compound interest. Now, what's the formula for compound interest that we're going to use? Amount is equal to, when using compound interest, the same as principal, into 1 plus r out of 100, but to the power n. That's what happens. So that is what we have in amount when you're dealing with what? Compound interest. So we can note something, that compound interest is the same as simple interest, but adding it several times, adding it up. So we can say not simple interest is the same for each period, while compound interests becomes greater or adds up after every successive period. So after every, maybe first year, second year, things keep on adding. Let us do one example here. Example. Calculate the compound interest on shillings 2000 for 2 years. At 8% per annum. Solution. First year, we are now going to talk about compound interest for 2 years. We need to calculate the simple interest in the first year, then we keep adding it. Second year, like that. Even if they had said 3 years, we could keep adding it up. Just as we have said, compound interest keeps on adding. So we have two formulas here that we shall get compound what? Interest. So first year, in the first year, the principal is equal to 2000. Then we shall have to calculate what we call the interest. We can say interest or simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time out of 100. That is in the first year. Now, in the first year now, the time is 1 year. So interest is the same as principal, which was 2000, times the rate, which was 8%, rate 8, times the time. First year, that was 1 year. Since there are 2 years, first calculate for each year. Divide by 100. When you press your machine, what do you get? You can pause the video and continue. What do you get? You will get 160. That's the shillings, in shillings. Now, we need to get the amount in the first year. As we said, amount is the same as principal plus the interest that someone has made. So the principal was 2000 plus the interest, which is 160, giving us 2160. That is in the first year. Now, second year, this person did not withdraw the money. So second year, you notice that the amount here becomes your new principal now. because that's what is in the bank. So principal is now 2160. 2100 what? 60. And interest, you can calculate the interest is equal to principal times rate times time. The time changes to now 2. We are changing in the second year. The time still remains to be 1 because it's 1 year. We keep calculating after every 1 year. It's not now, it's not 2, it's 1 out of what? 100. So interest is the same as principal, which is 2160 to 160 times the rate, which is 8, but times the second year, which is 1, because we count 1 year. Don't say we are now in 2 years. In the second year, this one becomes principal, and we take it as 1 year because it's going to work for 1 year. Is it okay? All right. Divide by 100. So interest is the same as, if you calculate very well, you're going to get 172.80 if you press your machine very well. Now amount in the second year is equal to amount in the second year is equal to 2160. In fact, it is principal plus interest, and I wanted to confuse you, which is 2160, which was the principal, plus now the interest 172.80, giving us shillings. When we add them all together, you're going to get 2332.80. Better leave it like that without rounding off. It's the best to avoid the error, as I always tell you. Now we're going to continue to get the compound interest. Now to get the interest that someone has used, you just say compound interest. That's the money that it has been yielded on you. Compound interest, this amount you now make this amount is equal to principal plus interest. Now we want the interest. We can take this P this side here. So we shall have A minus P is equal to I, just making I the subject. So interest in simple terms, or compound interest as we are calling it, is the same as amount minus principal. The amount of money which has been has accumulated interest and everything, and you minus what? The principal to get the interest. So the amount is 233 2.80 minus the principal, which is 2000, giving us shillings 332.80. Yes, that is the first method. Second method we shall meet and teach you. It is somehow of another higher level. So we shall meet and I teach you about the second method, and everything will be well. So that is what we have for today. That is what we have for today. I think we'll have to see you next time. Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for attending the class, and I think that's what we can do for now. Have a nice time. I will give you some activities that you're going to do next time, and I will send them to Okay, I will bring it. Anyway, I think let me give you some question here. Let me give you some question here. Activity. A man loans a friend shillings. Man loan a friend shillings 500,000. It's 500,000 for 2 years. For 2 years at 7% compound interest. How much will he receive when the loan is repaid? That's the question, and yeah, let's do that, and make sure by Monday you hand in your work. Okay. All right. Next time we meet, make sure you hand in that work. Have a nice time and have a good day.